Hey folks, Mr. Dell here. We are looking at solving equations that some contain fractions and some contain decimals and just the process of working through those. So this is from CPM Course 2, and this is section 7.1.8. Okay, so it asks us to, for each of the equations below, solve for x. Show the process you use to check your answer. So I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, okay, I've got some number, right? What does this say? That some number minus 2/5 is equal to 1 3/5. So I, I'm not too worried about this because I have fractions with the same denominator. So I'm not going to use fraction busters. I'm just going to go through the process of the way I would actually solve an equation, which in this case is to get this x alone. Opposite operation, if that's minus 2/5, I'm going to add 2/5 to then create this as a 0, right? It becomes a 0 and you're just left with x on this side. So do the same thing over here, add 2/5, add 2/5. And so 1 3/5 plus 2/5. Well, that equals, that's 1 5/5, but 5/5 is 1. So really this is x is equal to 2, correct? All right. So to check your answer, what does that mean? It means to put in place of the x the number you got. So over here, I'll put my check. So I want to find out, is 2 minus 2/5 equal to 1 3/5? Well, what do we know? 2 is the same thing as 10/5. If I put that as a fraction with a common denominator, and 10/5 minus 2/5 is equal to 8/5. And 8/5, sure enough, is, right? 5 goes into 8 one time with 3 left over. So it does check out. Okay. So then over here, we have 5x equals 0. Well, that means 5 times some number equals 0. Well, the only way that that's true is if that number is equal to 0. 5 times 0 is equal to 0. Right? So that checks out. So x has to equal 0. All right. And then this one over here, I'm going to add 14.6 to both sides because that's opposite operation to make that go away. So x is equal to, in order to add decimals, don't forget you line up the decimal place. So it's 2.96 and then 14.6. And then when you add those numbers, right, add a place value there of 0. And you get 6. And then that adds to be 15, carry the 1. The decimal place drops down. It lines up when you're adding decimals. And then that becomes 7 and 17. So I get 56. So now it wants me to check that. So we'll do a quick check. So checking means put that place the x in the original equation. So is 17 minus 14, 17. Let me do that again, sorry. 17.56 minus 14.6. I want, is that equal to 2.96? Running out of room here. So I'll just bring my numbers over here. I'm going to subtract 17.56, line out my decimals, 14.6, subtract those numbers, and put a 0, right? So when I subtract, I get a 0 there. And then 5 minus 6, I'm going to have to regroup. So 15 minus 6 is 9. The decimal drops when you subtract, just like the addition. Now 6 minus the 4 is 2, and 1 minus 1 is just 0. So I get 2.96. So sure enough, it checks out because that's what I get, 2.96. So my answer is correct. Okay, there we go.